Alright, folks, listen up. So, right now I'm going to talk about the dangers of Ouija boards, okay? There's a lot of things about Ouija boards that just, you don't want to, the truth is, folks, you do not want to mess with a Ouija board, because I was watching a video about it just now. Now, there was an incident back in the mid-90s in the UK where these four guys were at one guy's flat. It was a bunch of four British guys, and they were at this one guy's flat, and the guy who owned the flat was a literal devil worshiper. He had stuff ranging from like a demonic Bible to books on the occult and all sorts of symbols and incense and candles and everything. There's all kinds of stuff that a devil, pretty much everything that a devil worship that a satanic cult member would ever have, And this guy murdered the people at his flat. And so that just shows that when you abuse a Ouija board session, it could have bad consequences. Mostly on the grounds of summoning, say, a demon. Because, for one, most will have probably heard of Roland Doe. It was this young boy back in the 1940s or so. And the claim is that Roland Doe was possessed by a demon after using a Ouija board, but skeptics have claimed over the years that Roland Doe was not possessed by a demon at all, but rather was a schizophrenia sufferer, most likely was suffering from schizophrenia or a mental illness like schizophrenia. But I think the Roland Doe case, that's a mention on its own, demonic possessions are just, Ouija boards, the truth is about Ouija boards, guys, is that I've actually seen a Ouija board when I was at DNS. My first 9 months at DNS, when I was at DNS, folks, I was going to the day hab that my housemates at DNS go to. It was the Bonatera South, there's two Bonatera day habs here in Austin. There's the first one is at South Congress in Cumberland. That's the one that my friend Slade and my friend James McAllister go to. And then there's the other Bonatera, which is at South First and Ralph Ablanedo. And God, all I can say, folks, is that was a horrible day hab. Everybody at that day hab was just so messed up, Everybody at that damn day hab was so messed up. That's all I can say. But now back to the show. Anyway, for a while there, Bonatera South had a Ouija board, and I did not even dare mess with it, because I knew by that time I already realized just how dangerous Ouija boards are. And for anyone who's ever seen, for anyone who's actually seen what a Ouija board can do, all I can tell you is that using a Ouija board is not good. You never want to use a Ouija board because, it can literally bring forth poltergeists and also demonic spirits too. So, having said that, folks, the best thing I would recommend is don't use a Ouija board at all. Because this guy that did this, was the satanic cult member, and this British satanic cult member back in the 90s, he's at Broadmoor now, and Broadmoor, by the way, is a psychiatric hospital, is a high security lunatic asylum in Great Britain. It's still in operation today. It's been around since like the 1860s, and about a year or two ago, actually about 2 or 3 years ago, a British TV station did a documentary on Broadmoor. I've actually seen this Broadmoor documentary, and it's definitely a good. If you're big into the field of mental health, I definitely recommend this. I would seriously recommend this Broadmoor documentary. And it's all I can say is this Broadmoor documentary I watched. It's a cracking good watch for anyone who loves the field who's big into the field of like psychology or mental health. Anyone I'd recommend it for anyone who's big into like social sciences or psychology or just the general field of mental health care. So, and if you're big into the field of mental health like I am, you'd understand why I want to watch movies like this, but I'm also big into kind of this paranormal stuff, I know people who have seen things that they can't explain, And years ago, before I was even born, and when my grandpa Bill was on the faculty at A&M, and he lived in College Station with my Granny Joe and my dad. This is when my dad was a boy. My grandpa Bill told me he saw a UFO, and there was like these lights that are moving up and down and side to side and horizontally and vertically. And according to my grandpa Bill, is these lights, whatever they were not typically characteristic of. Or not typically characteristics of, or not typical characteristics of, of the Soviet Union or of NATO or any Warsaw Pact country or even the Soviet Union, because at the time my grandpa Bill saw this UFO or supposed UFO, that was during the height of the Cold War, but honestly, I doubt it was an aircraft of the United States. I doubt it was definitely not an aircraft of the United States, nor NATO, nor the USSR, nor any Warsaw Pact country, or any Asian country, or just, it wasn't an aircraft that had characteristics of any world military. So, this is definitely worth a talk on its own, The whole study about UFOs, as you probably already seen me talk about, I did a while back, I did a video. A while back, as you probably remember, I actually did a video on UFO activity in modern-day Russia and the former Soviet Union and modern-day Russia. And if you looked at that video, and you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that, as you saw in my first few videos, I just the first video I actually ever uploaded to my YouTube channel was actually was actually sent to me by a friend because see, I actually have a teacher, a middle school coach, a guy I worked at the school. It's my friend Kenny Howe, and basically like my former teacher Kenny Howe, like Coach Howe is actually a very good friend of mine, but like 2 or 3 times a year, he and his wife Melissa and daughter Emma actually take a trip to Disney World, like almost 3 times a year or so. And I was actually at Disney World. I was actually at Disney World back in early in the first week of May of last year, and the character in that video, her name is Merida, and I met with her when I was at Disney World last year. And if you saw the video, you can obviously tell that she's very good looking. You know, she's very pretty. You know, and any young lad, any young man who goes to Disney World and meets Merida, I can guarantee that you will automatically fall in love with Merida, just like I have. Because, to be honest, you know, Disney World is kind of, you know, Disney World's my lifeline, you know. Yeah, Disney World is like my saving grace, you know. You know, Disney World is a place that I've always viewed as a very tranquil place where nothing bad could ever happen, but you never know, because, you know, Disney World's a theme park, so technically anything could happen. So, anyway, folks, it's getting kind of late, and I should probably go, so I'll hopefully see you in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.